The movie is presented by atnature.com, an online outdoor store. D. Carnegie, a property company. Leo Vegas, online casino. And Head, a sports company.
So here we are ready for ÖTILLÖ Swimrun 2015, the start of the season. We just had a massive rainstorm and we have 250 teams coming to race, and they're from 19 nations. So we're really looking forward for this, and they're chasing that ticket that they really want for the Swimrun World Championships in September.
ÖTILLÖ Swimrun is one of the first competitions of this year's swimrun season in Europe, and at the same time the first qualifier for the ÖTILLÖ Swimrun World Championship 2015. The venue, the islands of ÖTILLÖ and ÖTILLÖ, are located in the southernmost part of the Stockholm archipelago, where the start and finish are at the very same spot where Swimrun was born 10 years ago. The race area around the inn in Gruvbyn has this year moved down to the harbour to make room for the increasing amount of men, women and mixed teams now in place for the highly anticipated start of the race.
When we were 8-9 years old, we started swimming together, and we've gone different paths in sports, but now we've come together again. We've been doing triathlons and running and kept on swimming, and now we're here at ÖTILLÖ.
It's a small little community, a small little family that are mad enough to go out swimming and running in the archipelagos.
Our hope is to find out more about swim runs, do well in this event, then do Engadin and do well in that event, and hopefully qualify for ÖTILLÖ, which is our long-term goal, isn't it? We've been talking about for a while now.
Yeah. A lot of waves today. How will that affect your swimming?
We don't fear the waves. We look forward to the rock and roll that waits out there.
Exactly.
The best part of this course is that we've tied together the history and the natural parts of the island. We start down in the harbour at ÖTILLÖ, on the north end of the island, and we go up the hill, which is going to kill a lot of teams. It's going to be a difficult run up the hill. And they come up to the open mines, and they're old ancient mines that are water-filled now, so it's a very, very pristine area.
And from there you will run on beautiful tracks down to Rävstavik, where you will have a really exposed swim on a bay that is right on the edge of the Baltic. Hopefully on this swim we will have some waves because it's very exposed, but then on the other hand you have a very safe exit of this swim where you swim into a sandy bay that is sheltered from the waves.
The swim across Rävstavik puts pressure on many of the teams as the sea is rough at this early stage of the race. The French-Australian duo Team Envol are in the lead, closely followed by Swedish team Head Swimming as they emerge from the water at the first intermediate timing point. Only a few minutes later, the first mixed team exits the water, Team F&P, and also the leading women's pair, Team Surfspot. The course makes a loop through the northern part of the nature reserve on ÖTILLÖ and further on to the islets Tallholmen, Stora Persholmen and Ängsholmen. The teams run past the starting area and the marina where they're cheered on by spectators and holidaymakers. Swimrun has entered an interesting phase of development and is actually one of the fastest growing sports. This means that competition is getting stronger each and every year and with every event.
We have now been doing Swimrun for 10 years, and people in the beginning were either elite military or triathletes or adventure racers. We still have them, but now we have trail runners, we have swimmers that are converting to Swimrun, and now we also have swim runners, people that actually call themselves swim runners. They do nothing but run, swim, swim, run. It's so good.
So I think it's not only the weather that will be year's edition of ÖTILLÖ Swimrun the hardest, it will also be the competition. So we have more teams fighting for the victory. So it will be weather-wise and competition-wise. It's going to be a very, very tough race.
The teams have soon completed the first smoother swim legs of the race along the northwestern coast of Utah Island. And the leaders, Team 31, Nicholas Ramirez and Julian Dent, are swimming towards Springer Brigger and the Red Bull Sprint Prize after almost an hour of competing. The leading women and mixed teams arrived together after the swim from Ängsholmen. Annika Eriksson and Maria Erstadt of Team Surfspot, as well as Per Kristoffersen and Fanny Dankvart Lilleström, Team F&P, who also won sprint prizes.
So Utah is famous for the ancient mining history, and also because it's one of the only shooting grounds for the military in Sweden, where you can actually fire live rounds over big parts of ocean. And this year we have had to change the course a little bit because there's a major military exercise at the same time as we're here. This, on the other hand, is really good because we get to see new places on the island and we get to show new places.
The biggest change due to the military operation is that we cannot swim straight over the Russian Bay, which is between Utö and Ålö. So instead we're taking down to the shoreline on the Ålö side, and then they will have a swim along the shoreline for approximately 400 meters till they reach the original exit of that swim. And there they will have a steep climb. It's 35 vertical meters where you will have to use your hands from time to time.
After the tough uphill run along the ridge, these magnificent views greet the teams on Ålö. Here the race enters a new phase with more exposed and challenging swims and runs, taking the competitors past the traditional archipelago restaurant and the energy station Båtshaket. Caroline Holmqvist and Christine Larsson of Team Ad Nature have advanced strongly to take the lead in the women's class. The race has now been going on for approximately 2.5 hours, and the teams are making their way across the exposed Timarsviken Bay and onwards towards Talladen to Storsand. The island terrain along the coast of Ålö is even less accessible. There are no trails or paths, and the course runs across slippery, rocky shores. The Baltic Sea is wide open to the south, and waves several meters high strike the coastline.
What's difficult here in the Stockholm archipelago when it's lots of waves is that it's very hard to enter the water and exit the water. Sometimes you lose your balance when you're cold after a swim, so it's really hard to exit the water, and especially if you have waves and the slippery rock.
In the cold and clear water of Storsjansviken, we see in 8th place Marcus Hultgren and Adam Stenman of Team Sleep to perform by Hestons. Along the route northbound across the island, the course changes character and the athletes go running on gravel roads past Utah's pastures and farms. This run section is 7 kilometres, and at this point of the event, this is a heavy distance to complete for the teams before coming up to the final swim legs to the finish. Team 31, Nicholas Ramirez and Julian Dent, Team Emvol, have been in the lead for most of the competition. And here at Springer Brygge, they're 5 minutes ahead of Team Head Swimming in 2nd place. Cheered on by a group of young local cyclists, they can now take their time through Groove Bin and make their way to the finish in the harbour. Nicholas Ramirez from France and Australian Julian Dent of Team Emvol seal the overall victory in Utah Swimrun 2015, the first non-Swedish pair to win the race. The winning time is 3 hours, 56 minutes and 48 seconds. They're followed by Swedish teams in 2nd and 3rd place in the men's class. Bjorn England and Oscar Olsen of Team Head Swimming roughly 7 minutes behind. Followed over a minute later by Team Physio Plus with Rasmus Renstrand and Nicholas Fallenholm.
Oh well, we are really happy to win this race with my friend. We've been training hard for this victory, and
I think the best part was definitely, I liked the forest running. That was definitely the best part. There was some great, nice terrain, spectacular views. But the worst part is probably the tough road run on the way back, 9K on the road. It was really a long battle.
Swedish pair Caroline Holmqvist and Christine Larsson, Team Ad Nature, managed to hang on to their lead all the way to the finish and cross the line as winners in the women's class and in 12th place overall. And the pair crossed the finish line in a time of 4 hours, 32 minutes and 26 seconds, thereby beating the best mixed team. Annika Eriksson and Maria Erstat finish in 2nd place, sporting happy faces, less than 10 minutes later. Swedish pair Fanny Dankvart Lilleström and Per Kristoffersson have managed to hang on to their lead through most of the race, and after 4 hours and 45 minutes of racing, crossed the finish line as winners of the mixed class.
We're really happy. Yeah, we didn't really expect
we didn't know
go
what
this
to
well.
expect. Since it's my first race in Swimrun, so I'm completely rookie, but it was great fun.
It was a lot of fun, but also really, really hard. It was, I mean, we're swimmers, so it was really nice to get to rest on the legs and the swims, but then there was a couple of really long runs, like the one on the gravel road. It was really hard. Those were the hardest parts for me, and I could not have made it without Pat like cheering me on and everything. It was so hard, but also so much fun, and it was so beautiful also. It was like really an adventure, I think.
Utah Swimrun had almost 200 teams compete for the ÖTILLÖ qualification, some for pleasure and some for personal challenges. For the first time, we saw all new winners, and it was also the first time a non-Swedish team took the overall victory. The season will have an interesting development to the final, the 10th edition of ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship.